Good evening, dear brothers. Hearty greetings. And I'm very happy to be part of this Bombay Annual Theosophical Conference number 89. This evening, we shall discuss and see, as all of us, let us gather together and see as to how to vitalize Theosophy and the Theosophical Society. Theosophy is older than man, being age-old, archaic. Is it necessary to vitalize this eternal, long-standing subject and truth of Theosophy is what my friend asked me. Since this is very old, older than man, Theosophy is eternal, it has been long-standing, being age-old and archaic, is it necessary to vitalize this eternal, long-standing truth and wisdom of Theosophy is what my friends have asked me. Theosophy, as you all know, is not well defined. There is no set definition for it. Each one can arrive at his own plausible definition. Some have called it divine wisdom and some called it Brahma Vidya. So, Theosophy has been in existence for a number of years. We do not know how to count those years. When we say Theosophy is divine wisdom, we understand it as wisdom of gods. Wisdom possessed by godly persons. This God, this word God, I'm using the small letter G, not the capital letter G. So, when we understand Theosophy as wisdom of gods or divine wisdom, we are saying it should be understood as the wisdom possessed by godly persons. Man has innate potential. Man has innate potential in him to realize the divinity in him. Man has innate potential in him to realize the divinity in him. Transformation is required. Transformation is required to become divine from mundane, earthly. From earthly, we become godly being. So, we need transformation to become divine. As I said, I'm just reminding you, the letter G we're using today is not the capital letter G describing the ultimate, but the small letter G, which all of us are capable of reaching, because man is potentially divine. Man is the process of divine. If man applies himself, gets to know at least the rudiments of Theosophy, and by practicing those tenets of Theosophy, by practicing means living those tenets of Theosophy, he can reach divinity. He can arrive at the doors of divine area. When we plant a sapling, a small branch of a plant or a small plant, we care for it. We water it. We protect it so that the same sapling becomes a plant. And as the time goes by, this plant can grow into a tree. This entire process of beginning with planting a sapling, caring for it, watering it, protecting it, and as we have done all this, we are supposed to be vitalizing that plant. We are supposed to be giving vitality to that plant. And that plant should grow into a tree. This is our aim when we are protecting the plant, when we are vitalizing the plant. One can do this only when one is sincere to the task of vitalizing the plant which we have very carefully planted into the soil, fertile soil. Similarly, we have allowed the seed of theosophy to sprout in us. Similarly, we have allowed the seed of theosophy to sprout in us, and we
Dalawa
have
yung tablet
planted.
magkatabi. Gano'n naka-addict yun.
There's a lot of disturbance. There's a lot of disturbance. Should I continue?
Yeah, continue. I will find out who is. I'll mute everyone.
Yes. Similarly, we have allowed the seed of theosophy to sprout, and we have planted the contents of theosophy into our heart. This seeding has to be strengthened. This seeding which we have done has to be strengthened. We will put all our efforts, we'll exert to vitalize the plant or the seed of theosophy. This we can do when we have commitment, zeal, enthusiasm, and conviction that theosophy is the way. Like there is a saying, Satyameva Jayate, I say Divyajnanameva Jayate. So Divyajnana is equivalent word in our language to theosophy. So we need to have the zeal, the commitment, conviction, and enthusiasm to make theosophy stronger, and then if we are sincere enough, we can make that into a vital subject or wisdom. And theosophy is the path which we have to tread to reach divinity or perfection. Theosophy is the path to tread or to reach divinity or to reach perfection, which is the goal of all human life. We do this not for ourselves. Reaching perfection, reaching divinity is not just to embellish ourselves. We do this actually to help others realize their purpose of life too. It is not enough if I reach a pedestal and start looking down upon people. I need to carry people along with me. And so, this path of theosophy is there actually to help others realize their purpose of life too. It depends. It depends on the person's ability to study, understand, contemplate, and internalize the teachings. So it depends on the person's ability to study theosophy, understand theosophy, contemplate on the contents which we have understood, and internalize the essence of it. And that teachings, when properly internalized, they become part of our being. This process of study, contemplation, and internalization will lead us to wisdom. And that wisdom will enable us to develop keen insight. This wisdom, which I have developed through study, contemplation, and internalization, will enable us to develop a keen insight. And then we can get in touch and hold on to the eternal, everlasting truth. That is wisdom. We need to convert knowledge. We need to convert knowledge gathered by following the process above mentioned to acquire wisdom. Knowledge we gather in so many number of ways. Wisdom is something which you have to make all by ourselves by contemplating on it, internalizing the essence, and all the rest of it. When I was 6 or 7 years old, I used to observe my grandmother churning the curd formed out of milk with a wooden churner. I used to sit around the place where she used to do that. The curd used to break into thick buttermilk, and still she would continue the process of churning, and till she could lay her hands on the butter which used to float in the thick buttermilk. The butter used to come together because of the process of churning, and the butter used to float like a tennis ball in the buttermilk which was made. So this is a process which has been done to bring out butter from curd or buttermilk. We have brought out curd. My grandmother used to do this. So butter, which was the essence of the physical process of getting the essence of milk or curd for that matter. Maybe we can take this particular butter can take another shape, maybe the shape of ghee or something like that. But then the process of churning is that which was adopted to bring out butter. So we need to do the same thing with our study, with our principles which we have studied, which if we have to do that, if we have to vitalize our theosophy which has already entered into us, if we have to strengthen it, we have to vitalize it. This is the process we have to follow. We have to study, churn, and arrive at the essence of theosophy. This essence, when I have internalized, that is made it as mine, and that is forming an integral part of my life, that essence is forming as an integral part of my life, I realize I need to use this wisdom and to lead the right kind of life. The wisdom is needed for me to lead the right kind of life, which is living for others, that I realize, and not working for my own welfare or my own selfish ends. So working for the welfare of humanity is the prime motto or duty of a person who believes in theosophy. I give up consciously my selfish motives and embrace altruism and unselfishness or selflessness. This process was adopted after getting introduced to theosophy. We got to know more about theosophy through study, and we understood theosophy when we have paid attention to it, when we have thought about it, when we have meditated on the contents. By contemplating on the contents, we have understood more about this theosophy. And what we have studied, internalized, the essence, that turned into wisdom, that transforms our lives. And if we only information is what we gather, if only information is what we gather, no great change would come about. Nothing would happen. But the process adopted, like studying, understanding, gathering the wisdom, applying that wisdom to daily life, that process, if adopted properly, will strengthen, will vitalize theosophy. So theosophy, if it has to be strengthened, it has to happen in the individual's life. So theosophy has to be studied by the individual, it has to be contemplated by the individual, it has to be turned into wisdom by the individual, it has to be applied in life by the individual. So it can be strengthened, it can be vitalized by the individual. In the Pythagorean school, disciples used to spend a period of 12 years with their master. The first 2 years were considered to be as probationary period. During this period, the disciple is asked only to listen. The disciple is only asked to listen during the probationary period, meditate and assimilate what he hears, understand what he hears, internalize what he hears. The disciple was not allowed to talk, question, or comment, or even seek clarification. The clarification has to come out of contemplation. So that was how a probationer's life was meant to be in the Pythagorean school. But then all the disciples, irrespective of whether they were probationers or advanced, they were asked, they were trained to introspect daily before they go to sleep. The disciples had to examine thoroughly how effectively the disciple has used the time. The disciple has to introspect daily before all of them go to sleep, and the disciples had to examine thoroughly how effectively they have used the time, whether the thoughts of selfish nature were entertained by him or were disturbing him is something which he has to examine. Disciples had to examine himself thoroughly, objectively, and remove weeds of selfishness. Disciple had to examine himself objectively and remove weeds of selfishness. This process helped disciples to strengthen his learning and develop a life which was meant for living for others, because he has removed unselfishness from his life through introspection. And this process added vitality to his learning, so that the disciple ended all selfish pursuits, and having eschewed effectively selfishness, the disciple would realize the purpose of life. The purpose of life is to realize and live a life of altruism and help all the people around, so that everybody is going to the same goal or reaching the same goal effectively. We are talking about an individual all this time. So this process of introspection, which a theosophical member or a theosophist, if he does, I think it will help him to weed out selfishness and concentrate on that wisdom which is eternal, so that theosophy per se will become vitalized and strengthened. As a member of Theosophical Society, we have been asked to, as a member of, if theosophy has been taken in as a seed, as a member, if theosophy has been taken in as a seed by all of us, and it has sprouted well, and if I realize what theosophy is all about, if I understand what theosophy is all about, if I contemplate about it, if I pass on the information of that to others, I strengthen it, I vitalize it, and the teaching by study, by contemplation, internalization, and sharing of that wisdom with others, that would vitalize theosophy. That should show the way to lead a life helping others, living for others, showing concern for others. If I am casual in my journey with theosophy, no vitalizing or strengthening of ideas of theosophy will take place. If I am casual, nothing would happen. No strengthening of theosophy would take place. The onus definitely is on the individual, on the members, to vitalize theosophy and make that into a living reality. Members' life should inspire others around him to think about theosophy, to know more details about theosophy, take in theosophy, and finally strengthen and live theosophy. This is perhaps one of the ways in which theosophy can be vitalized, strengthened. The founders of the TS, of the Theosophical Society, did so much to popularize and spread and strengthen the principles of theosophy. Only action brings results. Henry Steele Olcott took theosophy and the Theosophical Society to the doorsteps of the target audience. He traveled widely by whatever means of transportation that was available, slept on the railway platforms, and did not care much for his personal comfort, and worked tirelessly and strengthened theosophy and the Theosophical Society. The wise ones have said, theosophy is for the masses and not for the chosen few. So the founders lived up to the promises they made to their teachers or gurus. We have entered into the Theosophical Society by agreeing to sympathize with the objects of the Theosophical Society. At least the primary first object of the Theosophical Society. Having done that, having entered the Theosophical Society that way and getting exposed to Theosophy, are we working for that principle of oneness or unity? We have to question ourselves, we have to ask ourselves if we're interested in vitalizing Theosophy. We consider marketing Theosophy is a dirty word. Marketing is a commercial term. So we think it's a dirty word, dirty phrase. Can we propagate Theosophy? Can we propagate Theosophy? There is a lot of competition even in this field of spirituality. Gullible people are getting exploited. Babas and sadhus are dime a dozen. We see them in every corner of the road. We need not compete with them. We need not compete with them. We need not compete with them. And let us compete with ourselves. Let us compete with ourselves. I'm talking about the membership in India now. I'm told we are less than 12,000, and we need to be remembered to renew our membership. We don't renew our membership for 2 years. We fall out of the records of the Theosophical Society, the Indian section. But we're only 11,000 right now in a population of 130 million. So what exactly are we doing to vitalize the Theosophy and Theosophical Society? Even if this 11,000 also dwindle for various reasons, how we should achieve this task of vitalizing the Theosophy and how to introduce this Theosophy to others. Don't we have anything to hand over to the younger generation? Somebody was talking about the relay race before the meeting started. The relay race, we have a baton to be passed on to the next runner. Don't we have a baton which we have to hand over to the next runner? We need to activate ourselves. We need to plunge into activity, activate our lodges. Theosophical study is important. We don't have to have only study and discussion meetings and conduct meetings amongst ourselves. We are 12, we'll have meeting of people, only those 12 meet. We're not open to all people to come and participate. We're not opening our doors literally. We don't mind anybody coming in, but we don't take efforts to see that they come in. Like Henry Steele Alcott went, can we go to the doorsteps of students or people who are working in offices? Or can we go to the high school students and colleges? Can we address them? Can we address the teachers first and tell them what exactly Theosophy is all about and Theosophical Society stands for? So can we do this? Can we go to the doorsteps of where our likely members are there? Can we go to the students in the colleges, the high schools? Can we talk to the teachers so they would have better influence than people like us? So can we talk to the students and make them realize the real purpose of the Theosophical Society? Can we present easy to read books of Theosophy in the modern idiom, written in the modern idiom, and give details of a philosophy so that the students will be interested in finding out what more this Theosophy can offer them? Can we throw open our TS lodges to students and youngsters by inviting them to your lodges and announcing programs which would perhaps interest them? Conduct workshops which have relevance to their daily life and the modern day. A lot of people are using yoga, meditation, pranayama to attract youngsters because they are considered as stress busters or things which would help their health. So can we also do this and then introduce Theosophy when they come to participate in these programs? We go regularly to schools. In our federation, we go regularly to schools, at least 2 schools and 2 colleges to be covered in a month. That's what we do. Interact with teachers and students. We talk on subjects like how to study, how to prepare for exams, how to face competitive examinations, how to form speakers clubs, how to become an effective public speaker, and encourage students to participate in debates. We also conduct competitions, intercollegiate debates, etc., at the lodge level, at the interlodge level. And these people who are coming from the colleges are given books, are given various other modes of conveying the information which is there in theosophy, and see that those people are interested in theosophy. This is one process which we are doing, this method which we are adopting, so that we can reach the students, teachers, which method adopted would perhaps take us to the target audience. We not only visit once, but we follow up our visits. We go for the second time, third time, so that we know what exactly is happening, whether they're interested in the subject at all. Results will come not immediately, but they are coming, they are following our efforts. We are using the platform of New Life for India. We're using the platform of New Life for India to inculcate the right values and help them to become better citizens, better instruments to build public opinion, to take care of the opinion which they have to build against certain systems which go against the interests of students. We're not talking of politics. We belong to an apolitical organization is the first statement we make. So we don't indulge in politics. We talk about theosophy, leaving out all the rest of the things. We also try to teach theosophy, try to leave theosophy without using the theosophical jargon. We have a website in our federation. We post a lot of videos of short duration. We capsule theosophy in small sound bites and post them, those sound bites into groups. We want to present ourselves as persons who love others, who care for others. So we try to listen to whatever problems the students have. We offer solutions for their consideration. We leave our mobile numbers and encourage them to talk to us on anything they like. This outgoing approach is being practiced. Theosophy is presented using the modern technologies, more of visual presentation than presentation through talking. We are doing all this, and we tell them that we come from the Theosophical Society and theosophy is our way of life. We drop pamphlets attractively produced in local language and English, and we leave with the students placards. Actually, they're tablets like which they can hang in their rooms. Books of not more than 16 to 32 pages is what we give, detailing ethics and details of our philosophy without calling it theosophy per se. We give all the contents of theosophy, but don't immediately call that theosophy. When they walk into our lodges, our workplace, we introduce this. We, the members, have to tighten our belt. It is now or never. And we have to move out of our comfort zones, meet the target audience at their workplace. We talk to the software engineers during lunch breaks. We go to the software companies, talk to them during lunch breaks. Not long 1 hour or 30 minutes talk, but even 15 minutes presentation of what theosophy stands for. These are all the processes we're adopting to strengthen theosophy, which is a must. Brothers, the Theosophical Society is approximately 145 years old. Next month, 17th of 2020, will complete 145 years. It's one of the oldest organizations working for the welfare of humanity, for the upliftment of humanity. After all these years, this society of ours has to be revitalized is what some people are talking about, because that is evident the way in which we are not able to influence many, and the stress has always been on the quality of membership. We never bother about the quantity. This shift into quality has taken place quite some time back. But unless we have some members additionally joining us, where is the question of finding quality or adding quality to their lives? So this is what we're supposed to do. After all the years, this society of ours has to talk about revitalizing so that it can work for another extended period of time. I'm not fixing 150 years or 200 years, extended period of time. Like that big banyan tree at Adyar, this society of ours, this Theosophical society of ours, has to gain strength by deepening its roots deep into the soil. And the schools also should, and the shoots means the banyan tree produces a lot of shoots, they also get into the earth. Those shoots also should grow as good as the trunk. You all know that the big banyan tree at Adyar got uprooted during one of the storms that affected Adyar. Efforts to replace the trunk did not yield good results. But the shoots which have gone into the earth, they have become stronger now. And when we examine the shoots, we're able to imagine what the trunk should have been or would have been. So this is something which is happening. And the tree, interestingly, is growing even today, still. So this big banyan tree, the shade of the tree, which was the venue for so many theosophical gatherings, this banyan tree, the trunk of it is gone. But luckily, the shoots have grown and they've gone into the soil. They're very strong. And this is how we need to develop the trunk and develop the shoots. The lodges and the Theosophical Society has to be strengthened and vitalized. But we are talking about vitalizing the Theosophical Society. Our society has a